All right, so welcome to the Daily Deal Builder Members Training webinar. Go ahead and grab a pen and paper, and we will dive right into it. As always, if you have any questions along the way, type them right in the questions box. And if you're not watching this live, you can always email our team at support@hcdesk.com. We've got a great, knowledgeable team in there. Always happy to help you out in any way we can, so don't hesitate. Today we're going to be talking about traffic. Paid and organic traffic, contests, affiliates, social media, guerrilla marketing, and a little bit more. You know, we started our business about 6 years ago, and when we initially started, we had no earthly idea how to drive traffic. Like, literally none. It's the type of thing they don't teach you in business school, you know, how to drive traffic to a website. I think nowadays they might spend a little more time for that kind of stuff, but, you know, we just had no idea. So what we did when we started out, we just reached out to affiliates and joint venture partners and basically said, hey, look, if you can drive traffic to, you know, to your list, or really however you drive traffic, we'll give you a, you know, percentage for every sale you make. Now, this worked out really, really great until our CMO stepped down, and his primary role was driving traffic, you know, and working with our affiliates. So when he stepped down, more than half of the traffic that we were sending to our websites literally just completely stopped. That's one of the issues with affiliates and you know, JV partners. Although it's really one of the most effective ways to drive mass amounts of traffic, if you stop putting in the effort, the traffic stops. You know, and that's the same kind of thing with paid traffic as well. If you stop paying for the traffic, well, the traffic stops. So what we really started doing when Hala stepped down was we had to really put a lot more focus into organic traffic, into raising our search engine rankings for keywords that were getting a lot of traffic. And when we did that, a few really cool things happened. For one, it's the kind of thing where you put in the work one time and then the traffic continues, you know, and if you keep doing it and you keep raising your rankings on Google and Bing and the other sites, the traffic can just continue coming from work that you've done once. So it's pretty cool, and that's really what we put, you know, our primary focus into, is doing a lot of guest blog posting, creating articles and blog posts, videos, and things of that nature, and those things stay around forever. And it's pretty cool, and we're in a really cool time in that each and every one of us has a voice. And, you know, we've got all these different outlets that we can share our voice right on the internet. And in doing that, as a nice little byproduct, you know, you can really drive a lot of traffic. So it's pretty cool stuff. So the benefits, again, they're very low-cost results. You know, in comparison to paid traffic, they're free. And if you're listed at the top of the search engines for your primary keywords, you don't need to pay for traffic, especially if those keywords have a high monthly search volume. And you can tell how much the average search volume for different keywords by just visiting Google's keyword tool. You can type in a keyword, and it'll show up this big list of related keywords and give you an idea on how much traffic they're getting. Now, the lower amount of traffic that a keyword gets, the easier it typically is to rank for. For, you know, something like the keyword money, well, that's going to take you, you know, potentially years to being ranked number one. It probably isn't even possible, because there's really no way you're going to beat out Wikipedia's definition or something of that nature. So really, the higher the search volume, the more difficult it is. Now, if a keyword has a very, very high search volume, it does not mean don't target that keyword. It just means it's going to be a little bit more difficult. It's going to take a little bit longer. But one of the primary benefits is that it will deliver you consistent traffic. Just like I was saying, you know, you don't have to pay money for every single person who clicks on your ad. And your traffic doesn't drop to nothing when you stop paying for it. So it's pretty cool, because it gets rid of the need to have thousands of ads across the web. And if you do it right, it can really drive you a lot of traffic. Now, the other thing, it's brand credibility. And what I mean by that is you trust Google search results most likely. And you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but usually if you search for something on Google, statistics say you're going to click either the first or second or third. You know, you're typically not going to go to the next page because you trust that Google's going to deliver you the right results. One of the ways that Google does this is when you and I search for something on the internet, we will choose a result. Now then Google monitors what we do from there. So they basically see, okay, so Mark searched for this, he clicked on this, this result that we had here first, but he only stayed on that website for 2 seconds. He then clicked the back button and went to the next search result, and he stayed on that website for 5 minutes. What that tells Google is that that second result that I stayed on for 5 minutes is much more relevant to the keyword that I searched for. Make sense? Gives you an increase in traffic and exposure, and literally everybody wants more traffic. The entire mission of this presentation is really to help you get more subscribers. The only way that you are going to get more subscribers is by basically getting more traffic and or increasing the conversion rate at which people actually opt into your website. And what's cool is you can plug in Google Analytics or some other type of reporting tools, and you can just plug them right in your settings. And whether or not you're going to be doing this with your daily deal builder site, I also recommend you have analytics on every single domain name you own, because it gives you a clear-cut view of your traffic. It gives you a clear view of the keywords that are sending traffic to your site, and it's great to see really that which can be tracked can be improved upon. A while back we were attempting to sell one of our websites. One of the first questions that somebody asked me was, well, let me see your Google Analytics account. Well, me at this point, I was like, oh no, I didn't have Google Analytics on this domain name. Just a very, very stupid mistake, whereas you can get analytics installed in like 10 to 15 minutes. It's very easy, just get it installed on there. Since that time, I made sure it was on every single one of the domain names I own because of the valuable information it gives you. And the results are permanent, like I was saying. It's incredible. When you write something, when you publish something, when you focus on, building up your organic traffic and doing different types of tasks like submitting content or doing guest blog posts, they stay there. The results stay there. And if you continue doing it, it just increases and increases over time. And it's, again, unlike affiliates, we stopped really speaking with our affiliates for a while, and it stopped the affiliate traffic. When we've stopped paying for paid advertisements, it stops. The minute you stop doing it, it stops. Whereas this, it doesn't work like that. Update your on-page SEO. On-page SEO is doing things to your actual websites, like on the page, whether or not that's updating the actual text on your website to include your keywords, but make sure that your site is not only indexable, but it's crawlable by Google bots. You can go to Google, it's in Google's Webmaster Tools, and you can submit your site for Google to crawl it right then and there. Now, they're pretty good at once you get a site up to keep doing that stuff, but make sure you go over your titles and your keyword tags, your URL, your descriptions. Make sure you don't have any broken links, and then new pages and blog posts. You can install a blog, and I usually recommend on every single domain name that you have to get a blog installed and continually create new content on your actual website. Now this does a few different things. One, you're releasing content. It can grow your audience. If it's great content, people can share it, can drive you new traffic. But for two, for each new blog post that you're doing, it's creating a new page on your website. At this point, dailydealbuilder.com has thousands of pages because we're always adding new blog posts and things. And all of these are, it's unique content. Google really takes note of this. Now, if you'll mention, I'm really only referring to Google. The reason is because if you pay attention to Google, well, your Bing results are probably going to be similar. I've worked on being on the first page for all of my primary keywords. I'm also on the first page of Bing and Yahoo for those same keywords, although I never even check it. So depending on the size of your organization and how well you want to check things, you could typically go with that route and just kind of pay attention to Google, and what you'll find is that your results are pretty similar with Bing. So focus on your on-page SEO initially. Then you can move on to your off-page SEO. That's doing search engine optimization things not directly on your website. You can focus on building up natural backlinks from high page ranked and authority websites. Now I've got here Stay White Hat. What I mean by that is there are certain organizations, and I'm sure you've seen them, where people are like, I can give you 500 backlinks in an instant. Well, Google's not stupid. They realize that, oh, look at this website. All of a sudden, they went from 0 backlinks to 500 backlinks. Let's go ahead and look at these backlinks, and they're all just ridiculous backlinks that are obviously injected into websites and not done properly. That's called black hat. So when I say stay white hat, if you can get a backlink from, say, your local university that's on a .edu, that's more powerful than 50 crap backlinks. You know what I mean? If you can get one backlink on Forbes.com, that's more powerful than 50 of these crap backlinks that people can get you. And Google can recognize these bogus backlinks now. They can be backlinks, they can be outbound links, or reciprocal links. Reciprocal links would be, if you have a blog or you've been blogging often, it's probably happened to you where people will write to you and say, hey, Mark, I would love to reciprocate links. And what that means is they basically want me to backlink to their site. In exchange, I'll backlink to mine. That stuff's fine to do as long as it completely makes sense. You can connect to other blogs directly or indirectly. And the only thing to remember is to focus on getting links from great page rank websites and similar types of blogs. That actually makes sense. Now, guest blog posts, this is huge. When you write a guest blog post, you're essentially leveraging the traffic and audience of another website. And this is really, really great because it's a win for that blog owner also, because you're providing them new, fresh content to release on their blog. In exchange, you can write a little blurb about you, your website, what you do, get a backlink, get it more exposure. So it's a win-win for both of you guys. So you can always just reach out to people. It's as simple as sending an email and saying, hey, my name is Marc Horne. I'd love to write a guest post on your website. Here's a couple of the topics I'm thinking I could write about. I'm qualified to write on your website because here's some examples that you can see up on Daily Deal Media or Forbes, or and I basically link back to some previous articles, and then send the email, and you'll be surprised that you'll get people responding to you. And it's just a matter of sending the email. It's as simple as that. I remember the first time I started guest posting on Forbes. One day I was just like, I'm just going to send this editor an email, and sent over an email and basically did what I just told you there. I told her who I was, some example writings I've done, and she wrote back and said, I'm not interested in that article you mentioned. I would be interested in this type of article. And she wrote that back to me. I then proceeded to create that type of article, got it to her, and then you can become a guest post regularly once you get in the door like that. Get your business featured in news articles or news stories, and be shareable. If that takes you picking up the phone and calling a newspaper or just something, just do it. And the power of one phone call or one email can do some pretty cool things to you. Now, what you can also do is you can monitor Google alerts and use this to your advantage. If you go to google.com/alerts, input your primary keywords that you are trying to rank for. The goal is to show up in these Google alerts by activities that you do on a daily basis. I don't hit it every single day at this point, but pretty much I'm doing it now. And it's because I know my keywords, I monitor my keywords, I get alerts about every time Google picks up these kind of keywords. And so if you're doing it right, you should show up in your own Google alerts. Now, what you'll also find, and to give you an example, Groupon had fired their CEO, Andrew Mason. Well, I got wind of this like first thing through my Google alerts. It was like first thing, it came right off the presses. Well, I immediately created an article about Groupon and about that stepping down, got it to Forbes. Forbes released it, and then all of a sudden I showed up on the Google News section because this is a high, it had just happened or something like that. So just by keeping track of that kind of stuff, by staying one step ahead of the game, you could do similar type things. And a lot of people are looking at Google News and that kind of stuff. So if you can get actually featured there on the front page, it's a big deal. Regular content submission is key, and I'll tweak that and say regular quality and unique content submissions. Whether or not you're good at videos or writing articles, if you want to just speak your voice and do podcasts, if you have exciting announcements about your company, issue a press release. There's a lot of different types of content. Figure out what you're good at. Figure out the types of resources that your company has. If you have a big team fully dedicated to building up your SEO, well, then you need to be submitting videos regularly, articles regularly. You need to do it all. If you're just, a one-man, one-woman operation, choose what you're good at and focus on it. Videos always show up on the first page of Google. And so if you're just good at making videos, and you can just even do similar to what I'm doing right now with a PowerPoint, talk over the back end of it, and then you've got yourself a video. Get it on YouTube. Google owns YouTube, so I'm sure you can imagine, how it works together pretty well. And just regularly provide thoughtful and knowledgeable comments on related blogs. So going back to Google Alerts, when I see new blog posts or things coming through my Google Alerts with my keywords, I'll visit those, I'll read them, and if it makes sense, I'll provide a comment. Now in this comment, I can backlink to my website directly from there. Don't spam. There's a fine line between writing just stupid comments and going for the backlink, and then actually spending time and writing a thoughtful comment about the actual piece. So spend time on that. And then question answer sites are big. I've only recently started doing this, but it's on my calendar every single day. Answer one Quora question. Quora.com. It's a real cool little thing, and I'm sure you probably ran into it in the past because these answers rank really high in the search engines. But they've got all these different topics. So I'm subscribed to my keyword type sections in Quora. So every time I log on there, I see all these new questions that people are asking that are pretty much directly asking for my help. Now, what I've found is half the time I've got the answers already written out in a previous piece of content that I've written, so I can copy part of the answer, and then at the bottom I'll simply put to view the entire blog post about this, where it fully answers the question in more detail. Check this out, and then I link right back to the blog post right there. Yahoo Answers is also a solid thing, but I encourage you, just one question a day. It literally takes you a couple minutes, and just start doing it, and you'll actually start to see some traffic for it. If you have your analytics installed, you might even start to see that you're receiving traffic from Quora. Pretty cool stuff. Now, it leads us into the paid traffic models. I always recommend, before doing any offline or online media buying, to test your offer with online traffic before investing in offline media. And when you do offline media, make sure you use a short, memorable URL. And you want to track all of this stuff, because if you run a newspaper ad, tracking it can become difficult. So you want to use a URL that makes sure you track it and okay, this thing sent me this amount of clicks. But newspapers, you can go to newspaperadvertising.com, mediabids.com, advertisingresults.com, usnewspapers.com. Again, Google's very smart. If you want to advertise in newspapers, pick up the newspaper, search Google, you'll be able to find a way to do it. Always negotiate, do your best to get the best possible deal with them, and make it happen. From there, there's also magazines. Find a magazine that your potential customers are reading, and typically you can just, again, if the magazine doesn't have a section there towards the end that tells you how you can advertise in it, you could probably use Google, search the magazine name, and say advertise, and the first result you see will be a link to advertise in that particular magazine. Could be a good thing for you. Same with radio. You can go to strategicmediainc.com or bidforspots.com or wholesaleTV and radioads.com if that's the kind of thing you want to do. Radio can be big, and for instance, here in Atlanta, Cumulus is, Cumulus is not just Atlanta, but they run Sweet Jackets, and it's a daily deal site. But pretty much every time you turn on a Cumulus radio station, they're advertising their daily deal site. We've got quite a few clients actually who are kind of involved with radio stations, whether or not you are the radio station, but you're involved in that broadcasting, and just directly advertising right there on those radio slots can do a good thing. And just make sure, the goal, and you have your end goal in mind, which is get people to remember this daily deal site, to remember that they can visit your site to get great deals on these things, and focus on branding and then sending clicks over. TV, sharktv.com, cheaptvspots.com, google.com/AdWords/TV ads is what is typically recommended to start with if you were going to go this route. Now, direct mail also, you can buy targeted lists and send them unsolicited mail, and you won't be accused of spamming. Now, direct mail is a great way to deliver a sales letter, and often can work best for medium to big ticket items. You can use postcards to drive traffic to a lead capture page. I've used in the past sendoutcards.com. pretty cool little resource that you can go there. They make it really easy to write a customized type message, customized type graphics and stuff on this card, and then basically upload them a CSV file and they will get it sent out for you. Pretty cool. I've done it in the past with our affiliates is what we've ended up doing it with, and it's always worked great doing that. Again, like I said, test your offer with online traffic before. You don't want to drop $50,000 in an offline media campaign only to find it completely flops. Whereas online, it's much easier for you to start small and then proceed to make sure that you're not fully going in the red and that it's going to be a profitable campaign. Online media buying. In the internet marketing world, media buying, it often implies to display advertising, things like banners or image ads. And I know that each and every one of you on here is no stranger to those. Every time you log on Facebook, you see these banner ads. Online media buying can include things like pop-ups or email or text links or video ads. There's widgets and there's other new types of like flash media. If you've been on Pandora, you'll see they've got fully interactive pages now that they're advertising, but can be really, really good, especially because your end goal is to get people to go over and visit your website. So when they're directly on the internet, pretty good thing to do. Banner advertising. Banners traditionally have been the biggest source of paid traffic on the internet. They're usually sold using a cost per 1,000 or per 1,000 impressions. It's called CPM pricing model. And if you do that, again, always just make sure you start small and you constantly gauge the results. I've started a lot of different campaigns, paid traffic campaigns, and after a couple hours, I've quickly been able to tell that this thing isn't converting. So I've pulled it. I've stopped the paid advertising. I've tweaked up the landing page. I've made some form of change, and then I'll rerun it. Now, anytime I run paid traffic, I'll always set up an A/B split test as well. When you do that, it really can tell you pretty quickly, okay, landing page A is converting higher than landing page B. So then I'll scrap landing page B and I'll take A and I'll basically set up a new split test. So if you're constantly focusing on optimizing and getting the best click-through rates, you're going to continually increasing, the rate at which you acquire new subscribers, the rate at which, sorry, I just lost my train of thought, the rate at which you acquire new sales. So you can do a couple different things. You can deal directly with website owners. You just find a high traffic website that's in your niche market or your geographic area, and then send them an email. Again, the power of sending one email. Basically send them an email and say, hey, I'd love to put a banner advertisement or a text link on your side. How much would I have to pay for that kind of thing? And then, you can negotiate with them. StumbleUpon is always a really cool tool. You can get on StumbleUpon.com, input your keywords and your interests, and then click this Stumble button and be introduced to just, a limitless amount of websites that are in your particular niche market. And each and every one of those websites most likely has a contact us button or an email that you can get in touch with, or even a direct spot that says for advertising, click here. But it won't hurt to send them an email. And what's even cooler is that a lot of times you'll find that many of these people are probably just running like Google AdSense. And more so, they're probably not really making any money from Google AdSense. So you can go in to a website that's actually getting a fair amount of traffic and say, hey, for $10 a month, I'll give you $10 a month if you put this thing on your site. The worst that happens is they say no. Now you can also use an ad network, and this is really how you can get millions and millions of ad impressions, is by getting involved in like a CPA network or just some form of ad network. You want to test your ad using an ad network that has pay-per-click or a small cost per 1,000 impression commitment, or CPM. Again, a lot of the places and a lot of these ad networks will basically want you to put in at least like a minimum of $10,000 or $20,000 for it. Negotiate, do your best, and be like, look, before I get vested like this, I want to make sure that you're sending the type of traffic that we need, that it's actually going to be a good fit. And so, you can always negotiate. Google.com/AdWords/display network is the recommended place to start there. Adbright.com is another pretty cool one. And from there, just take your winning campaigns to high volume display ad networks, things like Zdo.com, Pulse360.com, BurstMedia.com, CPXinteractive.com, Traffic with a Q, tribalfusion.com, advertising.com, tribalfusion.com, or valueclick.com. But if you have a winning campaign and it's working out, you can scale that thing literally just about as high as you want to. And some of these companies, well, once they're able to scale it to that level, they're paying $50,000 a day for traffic, but it's winning and it's it's doing good for them. I've spoken with a few different people paying that much, like literally $50,000 a day. I was like, wow, how did you get to that level paying for traffic? And the answer is exactly what I thought it would be. It was, well, I started small. I was paying $500 a day. I optimized it, made sure I was making money. Well, once I did that, I continued to just amp it up, and I would just start spending more and more money because I'm making more and more money. Now, even paid traffic experts lose a lot of money on a lot of campaigns. Like I said earlier, I've started a lot of different paid traffic campaigns through Facebook, through Google, through LinkedIn was my most recent one. LinkedIn advertising didn't do me anything, like nothing. I tried everything in my power to get the traffic, to get the clicks. I set everything right, but people just weren't clicking these linked ads at all. I ended up getting like 20 clicks or something, and literally had very, very high daily spends and everything, but it couldn't get it. Cost per view, also known as pay-per-view. It's another pricing model that you can use in the media buying. It's most commonly used for things like pop-ups, but for some video ads or toolbar ads or ads that appear in software and computer games could be a good route for that. Some CPV networks you could look into: TrafficVance.com, DirectCPV.com, MediaTraffic.com, ClickSoar, ClickSOR.com, and then, like I mentioned earlier, StumbleUpon.com/ads can be a really great one. Now, Facebook ads, this can be huge for you in the deal space because it's very, very easy to target exactly who you want. Many of you on this webinar or watching this presentation, you're in a very geographically specific location. So with Facebook, and you can do it on Google too, but with Facebook it's much easier to really direct your ad only at the people that you really want seeing that. So it's definitely worth a try to get in there. At the very minimum, it's a good idea to get into the Facebook advertising, go through the process just to look at the types of numbers for different kind of niche markets or keywords that you're dealing with. It gives you a really good idea about the size and scope of people that are actually kind of in your niche market. Video ads, and again, you are at this point no stranger to these. Just about every time you watch a YouTube video, you are going to see some sort of video ads. There's pre-roll video ads, the videos that start before your video plays; mid-rolls, ones that are going during it; post-rolls, ones that go after it; overlays, ones that are just overlaying on top of the video. Pre-rolls are the most common right now, and you are probably like me. You probably don't like them, but the fact is that they've proven to be effective, and from all of my research, perhaps even 10 to 20 times higher click-through rates than just banner advertisements. Mostly sold using a CPM price model, but you can find some PPC, PPV, and CPA type price models on there. YouTube is without a doubt the largest video sharing website out there. However, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of video sharing websites. We power hundreds of these video sharing type websites. So, again, you could probably search for, your niche market keyword and then video sharing site or videos, and probably strike up some other arrangements with some other type video sharing websites out there. Some video networks or agencies, of course, YouTube, TremorMedia.com, BrightRoll.com, SpotExchange.com, ADAP.tv, YUME.com, and AdoTube.com are a few that you could check out. Or you can deal directly with the video publishers who actually post videos on their own websites, or third parties, hosts such as YouTube. But you can negotiate the placement of ads such as pre-roll ads and video endorsements, banners, or those text links next to the embedded video link, or even have them put it directly in the YouTube description box is an option. When it comes down to it, again, send the person a message. Send them an email. Pick up the phone. Call them. The worst that happens is they say, sorry, I'm not interested. The best that happens is you get in touch with a video who has millions of views, and they'll agree to get an ad right there next to their video or even inside their video for not much money, because there's all sorts of videos that get boatloads of traffic that's, it's not the kind of traffic that most people will pay for. However, if you find the right fit, can do some cool things for you. You can get a lot of traffic for free doing that types of stuff. Contests are huge. Just about on every single webinar and training thing we do, I'm always encouraging you to do some form of contest. Follow the rules, whether or not you're on Facebook or Twitter or like whatever you're using, the rules are very important with contests. You can use third-party apps. Again, I stress the importance of how powerful Google is, just finding the type of contest software that will work for what you're trying to do. But just search Google, and there's just tons of different options there. But include specific calls to action, and really just know what your end result goals are. If your end result goal is to just increase branding, is your end result goal just to drive traffic or to get new subscribers or to get new sales, you need to take that into account, your end result goal and secondary goals. Include a form so you can actually generate leads, and you need to make sure that you carefully craft your terms, conditions, and rules. Notify the winner on your website. And then give away something incredible, something that your target market really, really wants, something that your target market will, retweet multiple times a day to win this kind of thing. And then just measure your results. Here's one I found, Words of Friends. They're always, saying retweet to win, some kind of game card, things of this nature, doing it all the time, and, they're getting a lot of exposure from it because people are doing it. And it's really easy to basically enter that contest. And so why not do it, regularly do these things. Once a month, once a quarter, whatever it may be, and then just like I said, keep your goals in mind. You can use software, things like Contest Burner, Wildfire apps. Know your target market's desirable items and offer incentives accordingly. Organic and paid traffic to jumpstart the campaign. Do everything in your power after you release your contest to drive a lot of traffic to it. If the contest is crafted carefully, it could potentially go viral. You put a lot of effort, energy, money into driving traffic initially to get it off the ground, and then it can snowball, and a snowball effect can happen from there. But you've got to do everything in your power to get that thing off the ground. If you don't have a large subscriber base or a Facebook audience right off the bat, it's not going to work that well. So you're going to have to really promote the thing. You're going to have to really focus on driving traffic to it. This was one on Pinterest, kind of a cool little contest that these folks did. Here's one. These are some of our friends and clients, Nectar Sunglasses. They always are doing these things just right there on Facebook. They're saying guess the correct amount of frames and lenses in this photo, and you win a pair of sunnies of your choice. Share to guess twice. So, when I pulled this, they had 217 people like it, tons of comments, like hundreds of comments, 22 people sharing it, and it just kept growing. And they do this thing once a week, some kind of cool contest right there on Facebook, and their engagement is through the roof. At this point, they've got like 40,000 folks that like them on Facebook. When you go there, you can see that, okay, they've got 40,000 likes, but they've got like 50,000 people talking about their stuff, which is engagement essentially, and it's really, really powerful, really, really cool to see that, and they're just great at doing that. Affiliates and strategic partners. These are powerful. Now, I mentioned we essentially kind of like stopped working with affiliates a couple years ago. Now, that's not entirely true, and if you've been on our list for any amount of time, you'll see that occasionally we'll promote affiliate products if they make sense, and it's good for our folks. So what we do is we'll set up like reciprocal mailings. If somebody has a cool product that I believe my crew, my publishers, my clients will enjoy, I will blast or do a webinar about it, something of that nature. Likewise, they're always doing the exact same thing, right at the same time. They're promoting it, our services to their list. It can be a really cool way, and it's as simple as saying, hey, do you want to do a cross promotion? Now, in order to do a cross promotion, you typically want to have some leverage with your own list or something. If you don't yet have a subscriber base, you don't yet have a list, it's a little bit more difficult because somebody's going to be like, well, I can send you thousands of traffic hits. How much can you send me? And if the answer is nothing, well, you're not doing a cross promotion. Now, that doesn't mean that you still can't set up something that can be mutually beneficial for both yourself for your clients, for your prospects, and for the potential partner or affiliate and their prospects as well. There's always a way to find some kind of alignment, where you can mutually benefit each other. It all comes down to, again, like, sending an email or just picking up the phone and making a call with somebody. If you'll see that somebody has a website in your niche market or, potentially your geographic location, and they have an opt-in form, meaning they're asking for people's names and emails in exchange for something, that tells you that they're building a list. Ideally, it tells you they're building a list of targeted folks that would love what you have to offer. Get in touch with them. Work something out. You'll be amazed at what this can do. If somebody had to ask me the quickest, easiest way to drive, the most amount of traffic to your site, it would be to find somebody that has a boatload of traffic and they have a similar or same target market as what we're looking for, and then strike up an agreement with them that makes sense for them, makes sense for their people, makes sense for all parties involved, and then make it happen. And all of a sudden, one affiliate can drive you tens of thousands of traffic hits, if they've built up their list for a long time and things like that. So, a lot of this stuff, it's just a matter of sending emails, making a call, doing some quick searches. You can even have virtual assistants do a lot of that type of stuff for you. We have just released a new patch, a new upgrade in Daily Deal Builder, and it basically allows you to offer incentives for your users to share your deals. Now, right now, out of the box, you can set for each offer, a flat-based commission or a percentage-based commission. But this upgrade essentially allows you to have credits or to offer credits. So if somebody spends, say, $100 on your website, you could then give them X amount of credits, and they can use these credits to get other things. Or you can set it so if somebody, say, refers 3 friends, you can give them X amount of credits, that kind of thing. Pretty powerful, pretty cool stuff. So if you wanted that, you could visit dailydealbuilder.com/plugins. Just added it to the bottom of that order form right there. It's called the Patch 7 Incentive Upgrade. All right, social media. Social media is, gosh, a really funny thing. Be shareable, ask open-ended questions. Don't spam. There's such a fine line where I see businesses getting on just like spamming on social media sites, and people hate it. You just want to treat social media like you would, like a real party, or like you're hanging out with your friends. When you're hanging out with your friends, you wouldn't go up and be like, click this, click this, click this. You would have a conversation with people. If in the midst of that conversation, talk came up about your business, well, you could tell people, yeah, well, check out this to learn more. But just treat it like, you would like you're talking to real people, because it is real people, and that's exactly what Facebook wants. They want you to connect and engage with potential customers and customers in the exact same way that you would connect and engage from your personal Facebook account. Don't buy friends or likes. I'm sure you probably ran across people saying, hey, you can pay X amount of dollars and get, we'll send you this many likes. The only way that I would ever recommend to pay to get new friends on or likes on Facebook would be if you're actually paying Facebook. And that's one of the options there. Like right when you post a new post on your page, you can actually pay to get more exposure on it, to get more likes. That's totally fine. Not from a third party though, or a third party company. Update your profiles often, retweet often, use hashtags, like related pages, be active, be creative, and engage your visitors. And just get on there and do it. And guerrilla marketing. Think outside the box. On our last training webinar, many of you, I recognize some of the names when we first got off the ground here that were on that. We discussed 20 really, really cool examples of companies doing guerrilla marketing. I encourage you to revisit that. But it's incredibly powerful for daily deal sites. I mean, if you're operating in a particular city, you could find people on Craigslist or something to work for you over the weekend. You could get them a funny costume, have them run around the city with a sign and get people to take pictures with them and tag it on Facebook. The potential of what you can do to stand out, to get in front of your audience, it's not limited to SEO and to paid traffic and to, like media buying and things of that nature. And thinking outside the box is big, especially for sites like daily deal sites, but really any website. You can use guerrilla marketing tactics. Again, pull up that last presentation. We went really in depth on some really cool examples, some ideas about how to do that. Make sure you have swag, business cards, get coffee mugs you can give to things. You can use that sort of things in contests when you're doing it. Can go a long way and can actually spread the word pretty cool. A while back, we gave some of our affiliates prizes if they hit a certain amount of numbers, and we gave them a branded video camera. It's kind of cool to see at one of the next conferences after this happened. There was like 20 people running around this conference, and anytime they would pull out their video cameras, they're sitting there using a branded video camera with our domain name and logo on it. And so that little thing, like, people took notice of it. There's affiliates and people to this day that are still like, hey, I still have that SNE video camera you gave me. That was like the coolest thing. I don't know, how much traffic that's ever gotten for us. I don't know what it's done. I know the people that received the prize loved it. I know it's surely done some cool branding for us. I know it, did some really cool kind of secondary things, and take that stuff into mind. So I'm going to pull up the questions here. I do thank each and every one of you for joining us. As always, if you want to learn more about what we do, launch a daily deal venture, or consulting or software development, visit us on the web, dailydealbuilder.com, or get in touch with us, support@hcdesk.com. We've got a superb team of developers who are always happy to provide a free quote for any kind of iPhone app, Android app, software application, like you name it. Our team is literally versed in every single program language that is available, that exists at this point. So we can really make anything happen for you. If you are currently running a deal site, you want some help, you name it, our mission is to help you out here. So I'm going to stop recording and pull up these questions.